All right, you guys, today we are starting out and just going to do some touch up on this. Obviously this is the color I was showing you that was a little bit too light. Again, we're just going to be using the camouflage, get a good coat. I'll probably end up coming back and getting some of the imperfections that you see down here and finishing those out, but right now I'm just trying to get at least this whole side as one color. So as you can see, we're just going to do some nice even coats over it and just get it all matching in right now. And once I finish this up, we're going to move on to some of the underneath work of the electrical stuff. So stand by. All right, you guys, as we discussed in the last video, the military trailers do run off of a 24-volt system, and we're going to convert this down to a 12-volt system. Because of that, we need to get rid of the old light housing. We will reuse this mount here for our new bracket. We've got a 9/16, and all this is going to take is getting these two bolts off. Hopefully they come loose. And let's get that second one. And then from there, we are going to snip the wires, which are on the back side. All right, so as you can tell, I've taken the other bolt out already. And once this comes out, it's just going to detach, leading you to this nest bracket, which is where you can put your new lights at. So let's go ahead and move to the underside now. And you can tell the wires on that side. And we've got them back over here. And we're just going to go and snip these off. All right, so now you can see from the other side, the military uses these little connectors that pull apart, little plugs. As you can tell, this has obviously already been done once. One of these plugs now goes to the other side. Since we're not reusing these lights, I really don't care what happens to them. So I've got a pair of wire clippers and I'm just going to clip them. And anything that won't pull through nice and easy, I'm not even going to fight with. I'm just going to snip it on the back side and be done with it. Pull it back out, and that's where I'm going to run my new wire. So let's go ahead and follow along and get the rest of the wires cut here. So just showing you kind of here from the up underside, this is the wire that we already cut. And it comes across the back of the frame and across. And we've got over here. So we're just going to cut all this out, undo our bolts, probably just cut this, but I will end up reusing the actual mount location for the new wire. And both these wires are going to go all the way back up to the front. And we're just going to take those out. All right, so as you can tell, these are coming through. The little tiny clips that are here, these screws on mine luckily are actually moving pretty decently, so I'm going to go ahead and try to just take them off and pull the whole wire out more as a whole, but I'm still kind of cutting them off at that location. It seems that the wire don't want to really pull through because it's thick enough, so I have been coming in and snipping. This is real hard with one hand. So snip them all, and that allows me just to pull this wire out, and now I can go from the back side, get this out, and then basically do the same thing on the next one, and the next one, and the next one, just to help get this out a little quicker. We're not reusing this wire. I have no intention to reuse it. I've got brand new wire to go in. All right, so as you can tell, we're all the way up here on the very front side of it. I've found this easier to just clip these off. I was fighting too hard with some of the screws not wanting to come out. We are up to this part here. We're going to take those two little screws out. Sorry about the lighting, trying to let the camera adjust. And we're probably going to clip the wire off here if we can't get those. We're going to end up pulling off the little holder spots right here because we're not going to use those for the new wires. And that will have all the wire off that. Then after that, we're going to be pulling off the emergency brakes. We're going to leave on the one that is working right now. But since this one's already been detached and coming down, we're going to start pulling some of that off. We're going to pull the air brakes off. Just getting all that cleaned up for the future of the next axle that's going to be coming in. All right, so as I expected, the screws did not want to come out, so instead of fighting with it, I was able to just kind of clip the end, and we're just going to kind of use a little force and wiggle it back and forth, and it's out. So we're going to now go to these, see if we can't get these removed with the screws that are in there. If we can't, we'll end up grinding them off. We're also going to take out this connector part here, which is connected on the front side. Again, there's little tiny screws that we're going to take out, trying to fight that. So as you see, some of this is just getting years of wear and tear and rust, just being able to get it broken loose. All right, as you can tell, I was able to get these off pretty easy. They weren't that bad. This part here, mine has already been cut on the outer side, as you can tell. So it looks like it's just going to slide out. And I might need two hands and the screwdriver to help pry it, but it is moving. It is going to come out. So give me a second just to do that. All right, right, if you look back on this side here, you can see where it was squeezed in. The proper way would be to take this actual bracket off. If you look here close, the way it comes in, if I can get this pulled out, it actually is a little bit thicker, so it doesn't want to just pull right through. You can work it through, it's a little harder, but if you can get it to go out to the front way, it is best. All right, as you can tell, our next part to getting the emergency brake line off here, we are gonna have to untwist this. I don't have my tools with me right now. It is kind of seized up pretty good, but we're gonna use a 1/2 on these 2 bolts and go ahead and get those out. All right, you guys, coming back to the brake adjuster, you use a 9/16 and we're able to get this spinning. I don't have any like WD-40 or anything with me. It would have helped, but we'll go and get this off, and then we'll take the bolt off, or the nut, and then this will slide out from where we just took off. All right, I ran to the garage and got some PB Blaster, so we're gonna put some of that on. Also grabbed the vice grip. We're gonna put that on. And we're gonna go back at this, just trying to get this off now. It's gonna take it just a little bit of work, which actually it's not that bad. It's actually starting to move right off the bat. It wasn't wanting to move the first time, so this is a good sign. All right, now that we got that off, we're gonna take our vice grips off, and this is gonna slide on through. For right now, I'm gonna end up just tying this up. We're not gonna be using it on the road anytime soon. But hopefully these axles will actually be swapped out here and not at the other location. If I do gotta drive to the other location, I'm gonna slide it back through, and I'll just put the nut on the very end just to hold it in position while we do that. So let's move on to the air part of the brakes. And I apologize, you guys. My camera got put into the time-lapse mode, so I don't have the audio. But I was going over just the removal here, and this is gonna be the air brake line, the hydraulic line, and all of the lower area stuff that I'm gonna be removing. First, we're coming in here, and this is the actual copper line. We're going to remove the nut that's on the end, holding it in place on the air brake side, and then we're going to move forward up towards the tongue, where we're going to remove the second one off of the back of the air brake. Off of that, there's also 2 bolts on the bottom there, and in one part, we're just going to end up breaking that just to get it off. It was a little bit easier than trying to fight it and get it through that little tiny hole. The copper does bend if you give it a little bit of a pull. There's the 2 lower bolts or nuts that will hold on the air cylinder that is on the front side. We're going to show you that here. And then we're going to go to the 3 bolts on the brake actuator right there. I don't have video of this. It's pretty heavy, and just watch when it comes off. It does want to fall. It'll almost hit me. And what we're going to do next is just actually take a pair of wire cutters and snip off the hydraulic lines, because I know there's no fluid in these lines at this point. The next thing I want to talk about is keeping all of your parts. This is one thing until you're done with the project. Keep the parts. You never know what you might need to use if there's a missing bolt or something else. And here we're talking about where we're going to put the location of the electrical box that we're getting. I've got one that's got a 7-pin connector, and it has a little box which we'll show you. And there's a couple locations for that. Also going over with the line, if you're not familiar, an easy way to remember is the yellow wire always goes towards the left, towards the yellow line in the road. The green always goes to the green grass side, and then the brown is the dirt that's below you for your running lights. So that's how you remember the right and the left side. And here I'm talking about tying off that, so when you're pulling the wire through the trailer, it doesn't come with you and slip out and you've got to go back and pull it. I like to start at one end and lace it through the whole entire way. So from here, I'm going to start from the front. I'm going to put these wires about 6 inches more than the box location I'm going to mount it. And from there, I'm going to use a lot of the factory area that they had the wire going through already. And I'm just going to lace this through the whole same way. I am going to come back with wire loom and put this in the wire loom to dress it up a little bit. But this was trying to get installed, so I at least have brake lights if I do need to get this to the axle person, and I should be getting my new tires and axle in the next week or 2. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and have my lights working. All right, and as you can tell here, I have ran that wire. So we can get the color to change right. There we go. I ran that wire down. We're gonna end up putting some wire loom around it, it comes back here. I've got it out on the ground right now, but it will come out that hole. And this mount here, as you can see, I sanded that down a little bit and went ahead and painted it. And that is going to be ready for the light box when it gets here. And I did the same thing to this side over here. All right, you guys, well, I thought I was done for the day, but lo and behold, right as I was finishing up, the UPS man happened to drop off the boxes. So I've got this here on the back, and these are the little lights I was telling you about. So I'm gonna end up putting these marker lights, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're gonna end up coming in right here to go forward, or they might even be on the side here. My biggest thing I'm worried about is when off-roading is how to avoid from them hitting any type of tree. The other option I had was putting them down up under right there, which I think is my most favorite spot. I've just got to kind of look at some of the logistics behind it all and figure that out. But to show you guys the light boxes I was talking about, these are them. They are metal. On this outer side will be a round light for your side directional, and then you've got your main brake and running light here. This is upside down, of course. That's for your license plate to hang down, and as you can tell, that's going to bolt right up to that. And this is the other side here, where again you have your small wire hole on one side, and that's where we're going to run our power to both the lights coming out of it. You got your main brake, and then you got your side marker light. And then I've got 4 of the orange and 4 of the reds. So a lot of it's going to be placement, and like I said, I believe I'm going to be putting them right here on those sides. All right, so here are the LED light housings. As you can tell, they are bent steel. This is for your regular oval, and then you got your round corner light. And on this side here, they've got a little tiny entry for the wires. What I've done is brought both of the grounds together. I'm going to connect those in through the nut and bolt to make contact. And as you can see from the last time I've come down here and I've cleaned that up, and my wires ran, and we'll bring that through in just a second here. The only thing that I saw that was kind of a mess up when I ordered these, and I didn't notice until after I had painted, this should have actually been flipped over. This should be for the left-hand side of the trailer, which is where most people have it. The license plate, at least, I'm sorry. And for whatever reason, they apparently put this in backwards, and the only way to make it fit is on the right-hand side of the trailer, unless you were to do the left-hand side of the trailer this direction. Since I'm not doing that, we'll go ahead and put it on, and I'm just going to deal with it being on the right-hand side. Not my favorite, but that was one of the complaints I saw other people saying had occurred, although that's not the way the picture was advertised they were sending. All right, as you can see, where this here is the original hole for their wiring, we went ahead and drilled a hole right here, which matches up with the hole on the side right there, so that way the wire can come straight through. It was trying to pinch a little bit right in here. We're going to bolt that back up after spraying a little bit paint on that, just to make sure that the metal's not exposed. So as you can tell, this is with it bolted up from this side, bolted on the back side, and the level of it. All right, so let's take a fresh look at this as we're finishing up the wiring. Coming back in for this particular light, the way I've decided to do the setup, this will be the running light and the brake light. The running light is the brown coming in, the brake light is the yellow. This outer side here is also going to be set up as a turn signal and brake light. So this will come on anytime the turn signal or brake light's going. And the reason for that is right here on this outer side, this is going to be our running light. So as you can tell from this distance, you'll be able to see the turn coming from this direction with a solid marker light there. And I chose that location because, as you can tell, when you're off-roading, the likelihood of hitting that's very slim, just because it's kind of very well protected. All right, and right as it's getting dark, I just wanted to show a little bit here. That's the side marker, and that's the rear light. And we're gonna slide over here, and this one has the brake engaged. So you see the side marker would still be on, and then you've got this inner one as your blinker. I have no way to make it blink right now, I just got straight on the battery. But you can see the amount of lighting, and from the side what this will do.